And welcome, Rooster Boosters, to Rooster Booster Time. I'm the big guy, Scott Farrar. That's Mike the Grand Boobop Perizini. And today, listen, before we start, I just want to say, guys that have been coming on our show have been playing better and getting these accolades. And so I think Will knew he was coming on the show this week because last week he kicked ass and he made the first 15, the MLR first 15. Will Tucker, welcome to the show.
G'day, guys. Yeah, cheers for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Listen, we love having guys that we haven't had on the show before. Thank you so much for coming on and taking your time. Also, shout out to Jason Emery, who made the first 15. Since he's been on the show, he's been kicking ass. Since Andrew Coe's been on the show, he's been kicking ass. And of course, shout out to Sam Windsor and the Butch for making their 50 caps in the MLR, which is a big achievement. Obviously, Butcher, 50 caps with one team is a big achievement. We know him, we love him, the Butcher. And of course, our first comment of the day, Jason Zimmerman, the number one Rooney fan. Jay, hello. Thank you very much for always watching and commenting. So let's talk a little bit about that NOLA match. So the first thing I think I want to talk about, there was an incident with Will Tucker. So I'll explain what I thought the situation was, and Will could tell me how well I told everybody. So Will went up for a ball, and he was up. He was off his feet. JP Duplessis comes in and hits him. And luckily, you landed fairly square. Like, you didn't land cockeyed. Or you might have. But as you went to get up, JP Duplessis kind of wraps his arms around your legs for whatever reason. I don't know. It looked like a cartoon where the baby's being drugged, holding on to his dad's leg, to be quite honest. And then I don't know what you did at the end, but you gave him a little business. They blow it dead. They say, okay, penalty on NOLA, which made sense. He played you in the air. Then the AR comes out like they know it all. And they go, no. Will Tucker did something. And then all of a sudden they reversed it. And me and Mike were left to go, what the fuck just happened? So, Will, from your perspective, what the fuck happened?
Honestly, you're on the money there. They got taken out in the air, I thought. And then I was a little bit pissed off with that and sort of got up and gave him a bit of a shove, and that was really it. Really, there was a little bit of jersey scragging and a bit of push and shove, and then penalty reverse. They kick to the corner, we get a yellow card, and they score. Yeah, all of a sudden it's turned around.
And I don't know if you heard the official talk to JP Duplessis afterward, but he actually said to JP Duplessis, and it was on camera because I heard it. He said, "Well, if he had come down awkward, you'd be in the sin bin with a card." Yeah, I'm like, well, then right there, that means it's a fucking penalty. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I know, totally. That's all. I probably got a little bit too angry, to be fair, but I was pretty.
Well, you definitely took out. I forgot who was playing 9 at the time, but you hit one of the 9s a little late. And
the rest of the week conversation to me about
that. So listen, it's rugby. It happens. It's funny to talk about. It's part of your fiery personality. And listen, you're correct me if I'm wrong, you're the youngest of the Tuckers, right?
Yeah, youngest.
Yeah, so you gotta fight 2 older brothers who are also professional rugby players. I mean, I'm sure fighting over the last pork chop, your mom really had to guard it for everybody. But listen, I think we did well against NOLA. I think we limited the handling errors that we had the previous match against San Diego, where we kind of slipped through. And handling errors seem to be always big with Rooney. I don't know if it's just the way we play. We have that overarching style of get the ball out, and make these free-flowing plays and make that offload. And sometimes I think guys just aren't ready for it. They're not expecting it, and you make the mistake. Okay. I don't know. We played great defense. We held them on at the pack level. I mean, NOLA has really great forwards. I don't think there was a time that each team really, I call it, won a scrum as far as getting the penalty to push somebody back. I think there was one scrum penalty the whole time because somebody pulled down. But other than that, it was very even. But that's kind of what you want sometimes. You don't necessarily have to push the guy back. If you just hold the pack to maybe make a slower pass out of the scrum, that's a win right there for your back line. The forwards friggin' played great. You had great runs. Caleb Geiger, man, I've been talking about Caleb since last year, and I don't know if people just don't know about him or, they want to kind of give him grief because he's only been playing rugby for 2 years and he's better than all of us, us fans at least. But that guy's like a human wrecking ball. He's like a blonde pale gorilla out there. He doesn't know it must be a football thing. He doesn't know how to stop when he goes forward. You know?
Yeah, he's a beast.
I mean,
he's an absolute
right. He's just always going forward. Like he doesn't even. I think he might get in trouble a little later on his positioning when he goes down, because sometimes he is a little bit out of position with the ball. But that comes again with playing the game and knowing how to kind of take the tackle. Kololo, another guy who's just running. They had a nice picture of all the backs after the match, and there was Kololo right there, and Sam was making fun of him. But listen, he was running well. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
and
he's playing good.
Yeah, and again, set pieces. The jumps were good, the throws were good. You guys worked them on the mauls. I mean, I couldn't really find anything bad to say about maybe a little bit of ill-disciplined play from a certain lock and a certain wing, at certain times of the match. And like Mike, right? Am I wrong? We said it how many times this past week they were going to get under our skin?
Yeah, immediately it seemed like we went up those two tries, and it seemed like the niggle started to happen. And even when that play where it got the reversal of the penalty, I think it seemed like a punch was even possibly thrown at one point. One of those like shirt punches too, though. So like, is it a punch? Is it not a punch? But they definitely looked like they got it seemed like that around that Brakely yellow card, they got under our skin, and before that they were trying to get under our skin, and that's unfortunately how they win games, and they win games especially against us. Is if you get us super upset for a second or two, we make mistakes and they capitalize on it.
Yeah,
but fortunately enough, we stayed strong and we minimized the amount of mistakes that we had.
Yeah. And for those that don't. Oh, sorry about that. I just wanted to explain the yellow card. So while Nate came through the maul, the opposing maul, the referee deemed him to not actually make a tackle. He deemed that the maul was still there. So when Nate actually grabbed the ball carrier, I think he grabbed a couple of guys. So the ref deemed it a collapsed maul instead of a tackle. And it also impeded them scoring. So right there, it's a penalty try and an automatic yellow. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to explain that for new fans.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I think you're right. Yeah, they definitely get under our skin a little bit, which is hopefully we can be better. Hopefully it's a good learning curve and we can be better from that. But I think it was also a key moment, not letting them, we had 3 scrums on the line with 7 on 8 and we were able to keep them out. And I think mentally that probably just hurt them a little bit as well. So although we were probably down a little bit on that, I think overall it probably ended up hurting them more,
Yeah, no, and I think it did because they, NOLA, one of my best friends, Rob the Hammerschmidt, big NOLA fan. He does the rugby rant with me. He talks about how they get to the 5-meter line and just can't convert. And how do you not convert against a team that's down a man,
Yeah.
And especially down a forward,
Yeah. No, exactly.
So,
and they threw quite a bit at us as well. So it was pretty cool to hold on there in the end of the first half.
So I'm trying to remember, was it Brendan who came in on the inside with you, or was it Benji? When Nate was out. Who was your lock partner?
BJ.
It was
BJ.
Okay. So my question is, interestingly, and you're not Kara, but Kara would line up at the 8, set the bind, and then jump behind Kololo. Why just not start there at the flank?
I think it was just to give us a bit more of like a hit as a group, and it helped us locks. Yeah. And then he could slip on, help the prop out. That's sort of what I gathered from it. I think that's what the front row wanted. So it was actually, and it worked well, I guess. So we were able to.
It was just interesting to him to swing, for the 8-man set, and then all of a sudden jump over. Again, something you don't normally see.
I've seen the offset 8-man bind before, which as a scrum half always throws you off because you're like, all right, you're keying in on me. Great, thanks. But I've never seen the, set up in the middle and then move to the side like immediately after, which just completely threw me off. I was like, what the hell's going on? But if it works, it works. So who cares?
Exactly.
And Dougie Coyle allowance are impressive for rugby in New York. Dolan was only a factor on 1. Yeah, like I said, and our defense was good. Our contention was good. I think we're really one of the only teams that contends at a higher percentage of the lineouts because of guys like Will and Charlie and Nate, and Kara can go up there, and eventually Nick will go up there. And I mean, you could probably throw Brendan up there if you need to, and Benji. I mean, pretty much any of the loose forwards and locks you can put up there to contend for it. And I think again, 9 times out of 10, if we don't get the steal, we'll disrupt it.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is something.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
That's, I
something
think,
we do best.
like in the last 2 weeks, I think we've only had something like 10 lineouts against us, which has been so. And then and out of those 10, we might have disrupted 6. So 60% of the lineouts, all of a sudden they don't have much to attack off. Makes it a little bit easier for us.
Absolutely, and it's always good to see it. Lineouts are a set piece that we were always strong in. Since we came into the league, we've had Nate being a stalwart there to jump up there. John Quill was a jumper in 2019. Obviously, guys like Butch throwing the ball, and Caleb. I think, in my opinion, playing front row, the hardest job of a hooker is the throwing. It's very hard to learn that technique, to remember the play, to get it just right. Caleb played football, so he's used to being close contact. I'm sure him being in a scrum isn't as abnormal, than trying to throw the ball over your head with this pill-shaped object and hit the timing and deal with the wind and all this. And he threw great for a guy who hasn't been throwing long.
Yeah, and it was actually quite windy as well. It wasn't the easiest conditions. But him and Butch do a lot of work together. They get so many throws and they it just shows on the field really. To be honest with both of them, they're working hard during the week. So
awesome. And listen, it resulted in a bonus point win for us. We talk, me and Mike again talk about bonus points all the time, and I think what's going to separate the top 3 teams in this league and playing against the West Coast, obviously in this playoffs at some point, is the bonus points, is keeping your foot on the gas. I think the only thing was we did take our foot a little bit off the gas against NOLA. They started to come back, a couple quick plays, couple quick scores. The weirdest part out of the whole thing, and I don't know, Mike, if you were watching live. Well, you're at the bar, so I don't know if you could hear it. Yep. The announcers, with like 20 minutes left, NOLA was down by I think 3 converted tries. Were like, "Oh, they can't come back from this. They're lucky if they get a bonus point out of this." And I'm like, you can score 2 tries right now, and all of a sudden it's a 1 possession game. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We've seen Utah, do that a million freaking times, come back from what seems like an unprecedented deficit and somehow manages it. So 20 minutes left in a game down by 3. It's not the time to be taking your foot off the gas.
No, and NOLA has a team built for guys who can sidestep and break a couple tackles. I mean, Devin Short is one of those young guys who is kind of slippery, typical flanker. He likes to play with the ball in hand, but he has the speed like Benja, to take it all the way if he wanted to. So I could just see that happening at certain points. Now, luckily, Rooney bogged them down enough and hit him right at the gain line. And honestly, our defense, I think, played the best defensive game we've had, including the game against Dallas. As far as when I watched the guys come up to the gain line, they were in NOLA's face and they were making a tackle and dropping them without having to have that second tackler come in. And while we didn't jackal the ball as much, what it did was it set up our line defense to not have any gaps, right? So I think we're starting to trust each other on the line there, saying one guy can make the tackle. I can set up for the A gap just in case, or I can move out wide if there's numbers. So I think we're seeing our defense change a little bit and get a little more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. No, they threw like a lot at us in that last 20. Obviously scored a couple of tries, which are a little bit disappointing, but they were, the way they held on to the ball was actually it was pretty impressive. I don't know exactly how many phases they went, but there was a lot, and they were just going side to side almost. So they did a good job for the last 20 really. But at the same time, I thought you agreed, we were able to hold our line pretty well, especially after they scored the second try there. I think we went. There was a good 5-minute stint there where we kept them in their 22, and they ended up kicking it out. And for us, that was just about the game, really. So it was it was a pity to let them score those 2, but it was good to react the way we did.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, a win's a win, especially a bonus point win. So, great win. Let's talk about Will Tucker a little bit. Let's get into the interview portion. So before we go to our normal questions, fans, I'm on the Rugby Rant. It comes out Thursday nights on Facebook, Fridays on TRN. We actually interviewed Brad Tucker, Will's oldest brother, this time, and we asked him this first question. I won't tell you his answer. You can check it out on the show. So, but I'm gonna ask Will. So, Will, who is the better looking Tucker, Brad or James?
I'd have to say neither.
That's fine.
I couldn't say
That's diplomatic answer. Mom might be watching. You never know. You don't want to make mom upset.
Exactly.
And like I said, go check out the rugby.
I don't want to. As much as I'd love to pump their brakes, I don't want to pump either one of them up either.
That's great. I love the sibling rivalry. It's awesome. I love it. Brad plays for Seattle. Your brother James is playing for Brumbies?
No, the Blues, actually.
Yeah. Blues. There we go. Couldn't remember. I knew it was a B. Thought it was Brumbies.
Yeah,
playing for the Blues.
He was at the Brumbies last year.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, when you're watching Super Rugby, check out for James Tucker. And when you're watching the West Coast games, actually, I think in May, Brad's coming here. I'm going to assume he's going to be starting. San Diego started Dan Pryor against Kara, so I'm going to assume it's going to be the battle of Tuckers when Seattle comes.
Yeah, hopefully it'd be cool to play. I've never played against them, so
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
that's so interesting. And guys, check out the Rugby Rant Thursday or Friday on TRN. See what Brad has to say about Willard James. So, Mikey, what's your question?
I was going to do like a deep cut, like super niche question right here. So, before you started playing for Rugby New York, when you were in, New Zealand, were you a Crowd Goes Wild fan?
Yeah, I was actually. Yeah.
So, and then for our viewers who don't know, Crowd Goes Wild was the sports show started by Rick Salizo in 2005.
Yeah.
So, are you still? I'm assuming you're still a fan now. You got to support, Crowd Goes Wild while he's the boss man.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've actually a friend of mine's actually just started. She's just started on it as well, so she actually works for the Crowd Goes Wild now. So
that's awesome.
Pay a bit more attention as well.
That's awesome. That's a great question. We should start asking more of that and see who slips up and goes, nah, that's a terrible show. And then we can clip it and send it right to Rick. And then all of a sudden you get traded to New England. It'll be fun. But yeah, so this next one, so jarring news if you guys didn't watch the NOLA game, but Benja Bonasso got a haircut and me and Mike are not happy. So that leads us into our next question, Will. Are you a Charlie Hewitt mullet guy? Or are you a Johnny G long silky brown hair guy?
That's funny. We were actually just talking about this. I was just with Charlie before. But I don't know. We'll have to go with the Charlie Hewitt mullet. And I was a fan of the Benja mullet as well, actually. No, it's a little. There's a little bit more work to it, as Charlie told me. Johnny's just growing it out. No, Johnny's locks are good, but I think the mullet's better.
Listen, we Mikey's a mullet fan. I like the mullet. I know, Benja had it last year. He looked really good. He looked good playing with the Eagles on it. Charlie's looking good with it now. And I thought Charlie was on our show. And I thought he said once his parents came to the States, he was going to cut it because his mother was ashamed. I believe that those are his words, I believe. That hasn't happened yet. And I know his parents came like a couple weeks ago. So I think he's sticking with it.
Yeah, it must be. He's had a wee trim again, actually, so you'll see that this weekend.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, even shorter.
Interestingly, talking about hair, Quinn didn't get his normal friggin' shape up. He had a little more hair than he usually does, which I found interesting because I know Quinn and Appy like to go right before matches and get it.
Yeah, right before the game.
Yeah, you got to watch out. I'll be part of the wives and girlfriends group at some point because I'm noticing everybody's hair.
Now here's the first two-parter tough question that we got. High socks or low socks, and then plain cleats or flashy cleats.
High socks. Well, I'll start the game with high socks, and they always end up. And then I'd go probably plain cleats, actually, black.
Yeah, I think that's a typical forward thing. Especially taller guys. High socks, black cleats, big ass studs. Keep your feet under you.
Metal stud. I'll even do a third part. Metal studs or plastic studs.
I wear metal most at JFK. Quite small studs, but metal. Yeah,
No, that's
the NOLA ground was really soft.
It was wet. It was like a pool.
Yeah, it looked like a swamp.
It was so sandy.
Really? Well, I guess to temper the water, they probably put sand down because that too much water, guys will get hurt. So I could see maybe they probably put a layer of sand to try and augment it. But yeah, it's funny for all the bullshit people talk about JFK and it's not grass. For a guy like me and Mike, guys like me and Mike who play in the Northeast, grew up in the Northeast, we played on that grassy turf all the time. So it's interesting that like, the New Zealand guys, the foreign guys come over and like, what the hell is this bullshit? And we're like, what are you talking about? We've been picking rubber out of our teeth and our eyelids for like 10 years.
Well, that was actually the first game in the game in Atlanta. That was actually the first time I've ever played on it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, it's my turn. I forgot.
It is your turn. Yeah.
All right, so you're in New York. You have a couple foodies on the team. Andrew Coe's a foodie. I'm pretty sure Joe Basser's a little bit of a foodie. Quinn just eats junk food, from what we know. But you got to pick a New York bagel or New York pizza.
New York pizza, man. That's I don't think you can go past it. The dollar pizza, how good. Yeah,
you waste your whole salary on dollar pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, the dollar pizza is better than a bloody $20 pizza back home, I reckon.
That's awesome. I love it.
So I'll say, being a new Rugby New York player, how's it been integrating into the club culture and what this team wants to accomplish?
Yeah, no, it's actually been really good. The team, all the boys, everyone's pretty close in the team now. And obviously, the start we've had helps. Winning with 5 from 6 now, so that definitely helps. And it's just it's been really easy, the transition. I think everyone's enjoying themselves, which makes everyone's always having a laugh at training and but switching on when we need to. So the balance is real good at the moment, I think, and it's been great.
That's great. If you're not vibing at practice and it's a little bit too serious sometimes, I think it eats away at you a little bit. So speaking of practice, we know you guys like to bang with the music at practice. So you have the aux cord. What's one song you're going to play at practice?
One song I'll play at practice. I might have to go for some sort of AC/DC.
Fine. I've been waiting for one of you Southern Hemisphere motherfuckers to say AC/DC, but everybody's so much younger than me. I'm turning 35 this year. They're all like EDM dance music and this and that. I'm like, just pick somebody has to pick AC/DC for the love of God.
I'll go with something from AC/DC. Anything really.
Sorry. I was like, finally.
And then, so what is your favorite Rugby New York jersey this season? Is it, the home, the away, the heritage, or the neighborhood?
I think I'd probably go with the home. The heritage. I reckon the heritage is, I like the heritage. That's cool. And we're 2 from 2 in it as well, which is good. Yeah, almost. And I think we're 2 from 2 in that, and we've won all our away games in the white jersey as well.
Yes.
But for me, I like the heritage one. Yeah.
Is it because of the collar?
Yeah.
Yeah, the collar's cool. What do you guys reckon?
I mean, I like the heritage jersey. That's the one I purchased this year because I was told I could only purchase one kit after I purchased all 4 last year. I do like the black neighborhoods jersey because you have so many Kiwis that you could do an all black style, black with black shorts and black socks and kind of get away with it. I think that would be cool one day.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But heritage for me as well. I love a good collar. I love the hoops. I think it screams like classic rugby.
Yeah,
so that's why I love it.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's cool, and it'd be cool. It would actually be quite cool if they could do a bit of a long sleeve, hoops.
Followed like cloth, cotton, the old school style. Yeah,
that'd be quite cool. I reckon. Yeah, I think people would quite like that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm just getting over the whole new merch set. Charlie Hewitt was right with me. There's a picture of Charlie in this nice gray hat, and on his Instagram he makes fun of his head size for it. But I have the same size head, and that comes in extra large. So check out that gray hat if you have a big fat head. And there's Jasmine Rivera. If you guys don't know, Jazz does run. She does run the merch booth at the home matches at JFK. So go check out Jazz. Say hi, take a picture, throw it on social media with her. And then buy all the merch you can before your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband yell at you for spending all your money. So real quick, this will be the last question, and then we'll go into a preview of Toronto real quick. So it can't be a Rooney jersey. With your own money, what MLR jersey would you purchase?
Jeez. What would I purchase? Who's someone not from the east? Maybe something like. Maybe I'll just have to go for a Seawolves one just because Brad's over there, I guess.
I was going to say, I think the easiest choice you could default to is Seawolves. I always love the Seawolves jerseys. I love their colors. So I don't think for an MLR team, it's classic because they've had the same colors since 2018. So I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about our Arrows opponents coming into Hoboken on Sunday. So guys, get your tickets now. Tickets are on sale. I'll be there. Mikey, are you going to be there?
I will not be able to attend this
God
week.
damn it. Are you playing another touch tournament?
I'm not playing another touch tournament.
Yeah, Mike skipped the match because he had I'm playing touch rugby tournament. And I promised the guys I was going to help him. Not only did he play in it, he almost got into a fight in touch rugby. So he has a little Will Tucker energy there. But Toronto, obviously, we talked about it a little bit beforehand. Kind of have some injury concerns. I think we'll beat them in the set piece. We'll beat them in the pack. The one thing that they do well, and it seems they do it well every year, is counterattack off a kick. So depending on the weather and how much we're kicking, I get a little scared when that ball's in the air against Toronto because they just, for some reason, seem to have a knack to find the space and find the crack in that kick chase that we have. And all of a sudden, they're gone for a quick try, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, and last season they talked about being road warriors. This season, what is going to be their 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. This will be their fifth game in a row on the road before they go back home to play rugby ATL next week. They love to counterattack. They love to counter ruck as well. We saw that a few times where they got they messed up with Connor McManus's timing and stuff like that. They're not a team to sleep on. Beat Utah, even though Utah's been struggling a little bit. They still played Utah great. They played a great first half against LA. That was out in Vancouver, and then beat up on Old Glory and played a close game against New England. They're definitely not a team to sleep on. And it's going to be, I think, a tough fight for us coming into this week.
This is a question from Will that Doug Coyle has. So last year they were beating us handily, and when at the end of the match, for no apparent reason, they had a penalty and decided to kick for points. Will, has anybody talked about that in the locker room a little bit? Has anybody said anything about it?
No, I haven't actually heard about that. Yeah. Not yet, anyway. We're still early in the week.
So that'll be interesting because I'm guys like Butch, he'll hold on to that for a lifetime. I think maybe a guy like Quinn. I think Quinn would feel some sort of way about that because he played well in that game and didn't come out on top in it. And so I wonder. Troy too. I think was playing fullback in that game. So I think you'll start to hear about it. We call it bulletin board material here in the States. So I think you'll start to hear about it as it creeps in. But yeah, that was an interesting decision to do that, last year against us. But I think now what we have to realize is, yes, they're the road warrior team again, kind of, but I think there's a little bit more off their shoulders because they are playing at home. They've played a home match already. They played in front of a home crowd. And I think because they've had these close games, eventually, if you keep giving them a close game, they're going to pull one out. That's obviously not what we want. So I think we just have to stick with how we played last week. Limit the mistakes, limit the penalties, beat them up front on the set piece, play our game in the back. And honestly, I think the only thing is if the backs aren't getting the ball past the gain line, give it to the big uglies up front. Will's one of those guys. Let them run the ball. Let them pick the ball. You know me. I'm a big proponent of letting the fat guys run the ball. Continue with that strategy, and I think we'll win. Will, we're not going to ask you to give a score prediction, but me and Mike will, and then we'll head out. Mike, what's your score prediction?
Since whenever I say, Rooney by double digits, we end up losing. I'm going to say Rugby New York. I'll say Rugby New York by 5 again. I think, it'll be a tight match. I think, Toronto definitely, is a tough team you can't sleep on. But I think that, coming after this, the win last week against NOLA, the lesson to be learned is definitely, don't sleep at the wheel. Keep, pedal to the metal. Hopefully, team learns that and continues to push on through. There definitely were great times where we saw the magic happen. There's some great champagne rugby that was being played against NOLA. So hopefully, just continue with that. And I'll say, a conservative Rugby New York by 5.
Well, Rugby New York superfan Jason Zimmerman says by 9. I'll split the difference. I'll say by converted try 7. And I think that'll make the difference. But Will, thank you again so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. It was good to meet you guys and get on here. Hopefully
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll see you on Sunday because you guys, I do my pitch side show 70 minutes. Wow, 30 minutes before kickoff. Mikey will be at the Excelsior Pub. Also, go check out Stout in Penn Station. Check out the Pig and Whistle, the Beachmont in Rochelle, Buckley's of Brooklyn. And I think there's a Jersey bar. I gotta speak to Stanton, who's the Rooney photographer. He has to give me some details. There's a Jersey bar down, I think, I forgot if he said Belmar or LBI. That's looking to have the Rudy matches. But I'm Scott the Big Guy, Ferrara. That's Mike Carrera, Boobop Parasiti for Will Tucker and the rest of the fans. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on Sunday for the match preview. Catch you all at the next one.